What's up, guys? I know it's been a while, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month, maybe two, who knows, I lost track of time at this point. But I'm here to give you guys an update on the NA. As you guys can tell, I'm behind schedule. I kind of planned for this just because I knew that welding was going to be a huge learning curve for me. And I've been struggling with trying to be perfect with the welds when it doesn't even really need to happen. Showing perfection in places no one will even see because I'm going to bondo it. But obviously that's more than just the car in my life. I'm not done with the welding, unfortunately, but I think I've made a lot of progress and I think I'm at a good spot. And just give you guys some little updates about what has been going on here at the stash garage. So number one thing that happened early on, pretty much right after I posted that video, is my cheap welder that I had for years prior to this, it broke. Which was kind of a blessing in disguise because that welder, there was not even a trigger for you to activate the weld. As soon as it made contact with something, it would activate the weld, so that sucked. I didn't know any better because obviously it was my first time welding, so I thought that's just how all of them were. So that delayed me like a week just because I wanted to do some research and get not an expensive welder, not a cheap welder, just like a beginner one. So I ended up picking up something from Home Depot. I'll link it in the description. And that gave me control. The controls about how the wire feed and the voltage actually worked. The trigger would actually engage the weld, which was night and day for me. So that was a huge upgrade. And then again, I was learning how to use that cheap welder, and I pretty much had to throw all that out the door and relearn how to use this better welder. So that delayed me, a week, 2 weeks just in that. The next thing that happened was at work, I went on graveyards for close to a month, maybe a month and a half, which at first I was like gaslighting myself, like, oh yeah, this is gonna be perfect. I'll be able to work at night and then I'll take a nap, work in the car in the day, it'll be perfect. But no, my shift was midnight to 10 a.m. And let me tell you, by 10 a.m. I was dead. I came home and just slept all day for the shift. So that delayed it heavily. There was nothing I could do about that. It was what it was, work's work. Also gave me an opportunity to get some more money, which is nice. A lot of you guys who have been following me on Instagram have seen some of the things that I have bought for the car that I didn't intend on buying, but I'll go over those in one of the next videos covering everything. Another thing that was a massive delay that a lot of people don't talk about is the burnout, right? I was forced into getting, I've already committed. Everything's out of the car, it's half welded. I was getting burnt out. I was going in there. Okay, V8. I was welding pretty much every free time that I had, and I was ultimately making negative progress because I would be welding a little tiny hole, trying to fill it in, and then boom, becomes a bigger hole, and then it just spreads, and then I just get frustrated. I have to walk away just to reset myself, which I'm happy with my progress now because I'm doing that very minimally now. Hopefully I don't jinx myself on that. I can see my skills growing, which is making me happy and reigniting me. I remember when I was little, I was always thinking like, how do all these people have these cool parts and their car's just in there sitting, they're not installing them. And now I get it because I'm striving for perfection, and when I work on it, I have to be in the right mind state. And like I said, you get burnt out. If my head's not 100% in it, the work's gonna show. And then when the work is not up to my standards, then it's gonna be a bad time, as it has been. It is always good to take breaks and understand how you're feeling. Don't just work on your car now becomes a task that no longer makes you happy. Working on my car has been an escape from a lot of things in my life. It has slowly became like, a chore. Like, I do not want to work on the car today. And it would ruin my mornings or my day because the welding would go so bad or whatever. Now I'm back, I reset, took a good week, 2 weeks off. Enough of my yapping, let's go, let me go show you guys the progress I've made. I've pretty much been focusing on the driver's side at this point. I did most of this with the cheap welder, so it looks horrible. So I've been focusing on this side, that way I can get this done and swap over to that. As you can see, I cut the engine bay for the V8 Miata frame rail reinforcements. It's not finished yet. I just need to shave down a little bit, straighten it out. That side is not done clearly, but it just frees up the extra space behind the engine, which will make getting to the coolant reroute a lot easier if I need to access that for any reason. It just looks cleaner in my opinion. I just almost finished this. I've been working on this the past couple days. I know it's controversial that I deleted the support brackets there, but I'm gonna be running a strut tower brace, so think it should be fine. As you can see, hopefully you guys can see, your expert welders, that it looks pretty good. I need to clean it up. Obviously I have a bunch of splatter everywhere, but I'm pretty happy with the result, because prior this was a huge headache, right? Since I added metal here, it's very thin. Every time I would spot weld a small hole, it'd burn into a bigger hole. But now I'm at a place where I'm pretty sure I don't do that anymore. Let me find some wood to knock on. But pretty sure this is the finished state for this before Bondo. And so a perfect example of me striving for perfection in places no one but me will see is this, right? The Firewall. So to me, this looks terrible. But to the touch, it's not bad. Like, it's, you know, it's generally pretty smooth and even. And I know that Bondo will most likely even it out, but maybe you pros can chime in and help me out here. Maybe someone could say, Jay, that is fine, just leave it. The Bondo, that's its job. But for now, until someone confirms it with me, I'm gonna retouch it, try to smooth it out, make it look better before I jump into Bondo. Those are pretty much done. Same story with that one though, that I need to retouch them a little bit, but they look a lot better than that one for sure. In case you guys are wondering, this is the V8 Miata frame rail reinforcement. Just sits right here. I gotta weld it in there. And that is supposed to reinforce it. So, like I said, I need to straighten this out still, clean it up a little bit. I'll clean that up a little bit as well. That is almost done. And then you have to shave this part here too, which I think I did pretty good on that. It's pretty decent. So this is the Welder Upgraded too. I'll link you guys in the description. It's nothing fancy, but is way better than the one I had before. So another thing that has helped me a lot is I was using this grinder, right? It is just a normal Harbor Freight cheap grinder with a flap disc. And I was seeing that when I was welding, I didn't really have any control over it, and that's what was causing some big holes because it was grinding too fast, it was getting too hot, I couldn't really control the speed. So I bit the bullet and I upgraded to a little Milwaukee right angle die grinder, and this has variable speed, and I can just control it more, and I feel like that has played a huge role in the progress I've made, because I can see what I'm grinding versus, you know, the Harbor Freight one, I'm just grinding, just, you know, tearing up my welds and tearing up the car. So that has been a huge help. That's my first Milwaukee tool ever, and I'm sold. They're pretty good. Pretty sure any similar die grinder will be able to give you the same results. I do plan on putting in a lot of work this weekend, and for the next few weeks I want to get this car done. I'm tired of it sitting in here rotting away while I have all these parts, again, which I'll go over in another video. So I want to finish this, get the Bondo started, paint it, and then drop the new engine in. Just a little hint for you guys if you haven't been following me on Instagram. Unfortunately, this week I'm on graveyards again, but just for 1 week. And that allows me also to get a 4-day weekend. So in a perfect world, I'll finish the driver's side and I'll finish the passenger side. Again, I'm not gonna hold myself to that because that's how I get burnt out. So we'll see how it goes. This heat wave in California is insane. It's been like 100+ degrees. This little AC unit does work, but nowhere near where it needs to be. Even right now, I think it's like 8:30 p.m. and I'm pretty much sweating at this point. And that pretty much wraps up this video. The rest of the clips are just going to be little montages of me welding, grinding, doing whatever it is I've been doing in here for the past month and a half. Thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate all of you. If you guys have any advice about the welds or anything related to this build, please drop it in the comments. I respond to every comment. Feel free to DM me on Instagram at Stash Garage. Again, I reply to everything. And again, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me for this build.